Yeah, thanks for staying with us. Well, before we go on, Helen, I have a little confession. I'm trying to recover.
I'm scared. You're making me.
Yeah, I'm trying to recover from that heavy rainfall overnight.
Oh,
I enjoyed it
yes.
so much.
Yes, I did too.
Okay,
I did. That's
good.
true. That's true.
So I guess the background of the month of March, being dedicated to women, we dare to play the devil's advocate with the topic toxic mothers. Ever heard of that? Could the word toxic be related to the woman and the mother? If yes, how does it affect relationships, the family, and society?
Well, I'm so anxious to get some answers, so we shall, in a flash, run through the high points of the week and get down to the business of the day.
High points of the week. No more fuel queues.
No more few kills.
Did you notice that?
Yes, but
I was shocked.
it just disappeared, like it came.
I was prepared to queue for
Another
hours.
week. No.
And I got there. What's going on? Is there something wrong? And I got it in minutes. So that's a good development, actually.
What he said to me is like, when we want to do something, we get it done.
We get it done.
As a people.
Yes. So that's Nigeria.
And that's
Nigeria.
that was my prayer last week.
Yes.
That by the time we're back here, the fuel queues will be gone. And so, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Nigerians, thank you for all the wahala,
And then the story of the girl that was killed on the bus. Well, we are following that closely. It's really sad. And quite honestly.
And some of the information that came from that, from the governor of Lagos State and the transport ministry of Lagos State, that whenever the BRT doesn't have the lights on, it means that business is closed for the day.
Okay.
And that never was an information that was out there in the public, at least not that I know of. And so you shouldn't board any BRT without the lights, going.
So, well, now we know what the general message is, that we should be, a little more conscious of
and we took
what
it for
is
granted that all of the buses had CCTV cameras.
Yeah.
And we found out that
a lot of things are
them
coming
don't
out,
have.
but well, let's look at it. Let's turn those negatives into positives.
And let's pray this is not another one that is swept under the carpet, please.
We hope not, Helen.
Please.
We hope not.
Especially not in this month where
We
we're
hope
celebrating
not.
women.
All right. So joining the conversation, our conversation today is a friend of the house. I'm smiling already. I'm not sure I'll be able to introduce him. He's an abstract thinker, a professional counselor, a chartered mediator, a spiriotherapist, and an entrepreneur.
He's Excel Adeleye Samuel. He's founder, Walmart Behavioral Science and Mental College. He is host, stress-free parental coaching class, and Sparkles single support for divorcees. We are delighted to tap from the practical experience of an expert in mental health issues, I beg your pardon, family matters, and a lot more. Excel Adeleye Samuel, welcome back home.
Welcome home indeed.
It's nice to be back home. Thank you for the opportunity.
Welcome, Excel. We haven't seen you this year.
Happy New Year once again.
I was going to ask, I hope you're not one of those who just returned from Ukraine.
A lot of fun.
But it's okay.
Of all places, John, Ukraine.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you.
It's nice to see everyone.
Now, really, we can't wait to get our perspectives on the toxic mother, which is our topic for today. And first, of course, let us establish that you are indeed welcome to the show.
Thank you. Once again.
Now, let me ask you, have you ever been opportuned? I'm sure you have as a professional. You would have encountered or maybe addressed the issue of the toxic mother. How little, tell us, how little can a toxic mother get?
I mean, it's quite deep. Let me say I celebrate women for this month. I will celebrate you.
Thank you.
Once again. You see, it sounds small, but it's a very big one. Because like I say, if you go home tonight, a woman can determine if you are happy or you are sad. Just for a call. We have noticed with the trend that children get more affection from women. Then if it's turned around, that is not affection, it becomes toxic, then what does the child be?
Okay.
What does your home be? What does the society be?
Yeah.
Now the question then is, do we have more toxic women in the society? Yes. As you can see on social media. Then the question then be now, if there's a toxic female, that means that there's going to be a toxic mother.
So we've heard of toxic wives.
Yes, they become toxic wives, toxic
this,
boss, and
this,
toxic and all that.
So a toxic woman is really lethal.
It's very little.
A toxic mother
Yes,
will be very, very lethal and impact directly.
The society itself.
Not just the children.
Not just the children. Not just the husband.
Because we are tapping direct current.
From them.
Wow.
Women carry the life of this earth.
My goodness.
Yeah, they carry the life of this earth.
That is strong.
Yeah, but that's a fact. So I'm asking, who really is a toxic woman or mother? Who? What are the attributes?
A toxic woman is a woman who is not happy with herself and extend your happiness to the world.
You extend that
Your
unhappiness
to the world.
To the world. Does she get that unhappiness from the world or from within?
You see, it's two different words. The school of psychology has said that behavior are learned, but I bet to define a bit. And I'll say this, for example, a child who is just 2 days old has a tendency to behave in some irrational way. Religiously also, we have seen some individuals who are just born as a different being as well. But largely, if we look at it, the reasoning, most of the toxicity we find is what we find around, largely. It's based on the society. For example, it's based on the construct of the societal construct of women, especially in culture, religiously. You get it now. And some are going through some level of trauma. For example, most women you find in the society has been abused by 1 or 2, 3 women. Sometimes, even their father is their first abuser, by the way he treats their mother.
So by experience.
By experience, and sometimes even by what they see in the society, by what they watch on TV. So most of the people we call toxic people didn't just grow up to be toxic. Toxicity also was passed across. Then what I ask women most time or parents is that, how much of the toxicity are you passing to generation upon generation? Because the unhappy woman will raise an unhappy child that will be a depressed child.
Who in turn?
We also extend that to the society.
The toxic parents.
Wow. You see, I have a little challenge here. The word toxic. What each time I come across that word toxic and I place it against a mother or woman, you know,
It doesn't sit well.
Yeah, it doesn't sit well.
Yeah.
Because toxic immediately conjures the feeling of,
Dangerous.
there may be some spiritual, demonic, or chemical, something malfunction going on somewhere. And then you say, you position
You are
it with
associated with
our sweet women,
Being.
mothers. How does it fit? Isn't that what toxic and overkill?
You see, yes and no. The way you could just assess that is to check what is the result.
Yeah.
For example, what is the result of the home? What is the result of the children? What result is she giving out? Then you can use that to balance that. And toxicity itself just means poison.
Yes.
But we all know sometimes that you have some stomach ache based on poison. That doesn't mean you will die. You get it now? Now, the challenge we have in the society is also use of word, which can cause some level of mental disadvantage to people in the way we use it.
Yes.
I can be toxic today. Does not mean when I walk out of that door, I'm not also sweet. Does not mean today, tomorrow, I can't be the best person as a way.
So you can be toxic in certain environments.
Exactly.
And once you step out,
Things could change.
comfort zone sets in.
And all of that. For example, if somebody hits my car right now,
You become toxic immediately.
Instantly, man.
Okay.
As long as it takes some level of emotional
Yes.
intelligence or control to handle that particular time. So toxicity does not necessarily mean the person is a toxic human being. It could be
It's
based
an
on challenge.
incurable.
Exactly. It could be based on challenge, based on situation.
Yeah.
You get it now. For example, a woman who is living with an abusive husband will behave toxic because she's not happy. She will shout, she will nag. The children are not listening. That same woman will shout. At that point, the behavior does not look sweet. It looks toxic. When it becomes a bigger problem, if there's a consistency of that act,
Yes.
then you can say that person is toxic human being
Because a pattern has been.
over time.
Yes.
All right, this is a family show. I always get to this point. And we are talking and celebrating women and mothers and the girl child, if I can use that word. Now, we've heard instances of a mother and a daughter having an extremely prolonged toxic relationship. How would a psychologist such as you explain that?
You see, in most of those cases, we don't come to a conclusion of saying one or two of them is toxic. We try to look at the situation. Then we look at the persons. I'll give you an example. A lady walks into the house and it says, into the office for a session and says, I don't have a good relationship with my mother. Since when? She says, since when I was 16. What happened? And then maybe in one of those listening to her keenly, you find out there's a clash of personality. In some case, there's a rivalry with the way the man is loving the daughter more than the mother.
Okay.
And the woman beginning to feel that she's a stranger in her own home because the husband practically let everybody see that this is my favorite, not you.
Wow.
Over time, the woman, because she's a person and she's not getting what she has come to look for in that home, beginning to react with time, and the young girl just enjoys the love of father. In that case, it can bring. So we look at it deeper to say what is actually the issue. To use that to diagnose what is the problem and what can we deal with.
I mean, it may even be an experience longer, with maybe her father, the woman's
And incidentally,
father.
the girl child is more the daddy's child.
I mean, I don't want to say men are wired that way. Men just behave unconsciously like that most times. The first child, a woman can cheat on his wife, but doesn't want his daughter to cheat. And if he's his guy around this is looking, what are you looking for? So it happens that way. So we have to look at different things. But sometimes, in some cases, some women came into that marriage with loads of issues.
Already toxic.
True.
And this issue was not dealt with before. Then any trigger, because marriage comes with its own crisis. Then boom, something blows.
Something triggers.
Something triggers. All of that. And
Something
some
triggers
even-
an existent
Exactly.
trait.
And some are just raised to be toxic. For example, somebody that stays in where they shout, Wawole, Wawole, in that environment that is very toxic. She does not understand bedroom voice or calm voice.
Okay.
Everything she's shouting.
And no
When
lotion.
she's talking, she's cursing. But the curse is a joke. I'm sure you have seen people on the road, Christians say, well, we have fun now. And as you really greeting, that is their word.
Okay, you know what? Hold that thought there. We'll take a quick break and then we'll continue.
Okay.
Wow.
Interesting. Okay, so we say thank you for being there. It's Today with John and Helen on PlusTvAfrica. And we are in the month of March, the special month set aside all over the world to celebrate mothers and the women. And someone is green with
Wink
heavy
at me.
hair. Oh, that one a business guy.
Okay.
Okay, and last week, not really what we're talking about. We're talking about the toxic woman or mother.
Toxic mother.
But last week, this is our month. National Assembly guys threw out a lot of the things that were, entirely for women. And women have gone on rampage all over. Does that say anything about the character of the woman? We're talking toxicity.
It depends on
Demanding a right.
it depends on the society construct to understand what the woman cry is. For example, I don't totally subscribe when they say nagging woman. When a dog is barking, his dog is barking because of there's something. Have you responded to or see why that cry is? So if the woman is asking for equality, for example, do they feel deprived? Do we have to address that issue beyond we looking for them asking for that right? There's something deeper that they're saying that we need to look for. I want to address. I think what we do in our society is that we neglect the cries of people. And that begins to show if we are really humans. Now, and I say this to both genders. Most times we neglect the construct of, or the biological being of a person. For example, in Ukraine, as we say, the government have said that the men should stay and fight the war. They categorize based on the physical strength at that time. And the women also should understand that men are nice enough to say women should go. But some women are actually staying. What they got?
Well, this argument, this argument will never end.
So let's bring it back home.
Because that's moving us into another sphere.
Yes, let's bring it back home.
We'll bring it back home.
And I would like to ask now, a mother who is critical of whatever her child does, would she claim, that she's being a good mother? Is this mother really, really being a good mother by being critical of almost everything?
You see, it depends on what we are calling critical. For example, a perfectionist woman would like to get things done, like to meet her goal. She's very adventurous. She doesn't take no for an answer. Probably call her choleric. She'll be critical of everything. Being critical at that point is not her criticizing.
Okay. Positively
is her looking to get something done. It now becomes toxic if she's criticizing and condemning and she's not providing solutions. That's what we should look at.
Yes.
You get it now. So someone can come into the place and say, this tool is not well done. And somebody has been in this house walking past. And he will say, do you know what? Daddy does not complain. Is this woman every time when he comes to his house keep complaining? But mommy is just one who will see that things need to be corrected and done in the proper way. It now becomes a problem when mommy can't bear and sometimes help out or guide in how to do it. That is a bigger problem.
So we're looking at degrees now. we're looking at threshold levels.
Okay.
We're drawing lines.
Yes.
Like, there's a certain line that defines whether you're just being a good mommy or if you're beginning to get toxic.
That's it.
And of course, you've been able to pass a message across to me that this issue of being toxic it could come from anywhere. Yeah. There are so many triggers. It could even be spiritual.
That's it.
It could be hormonal.
True.
It could be from experience or whatever. Now, could you tell us, what are the telltale signs? Like when we see those signs, right? We should start to. This woman is getting toxic. She's not just being a mother.
Yeah. One of the signs is that the person becomes so moody.
So it's a mental thing too.
Oh, it could be very mental most times. Largely mental. Even.
Psychological.
Largely mental.
Wow. Okay.
The person gets so moody. The person does not reason the line of everyone. Sometimes even they are withdrawn. Sometimes they get even more religious.
Wow.
You get it now. They become more religious.
Okay.
And sometimes, some just bring arguments that you find that is unnecessary. Sometimes some just keep repeating a particular incident, a particular matter over and over again. You get it now? Those are few signs to know that something is wrong somewhere. And most times, they get angry easily. You just get angry easily. They flip up easily.
Okay.
Know that. So those are signs that is saying that this person is toxic. Or sometimes some will just go off from everybody for a while. You see a time when somebody will just switch off their phone or say miss call and doesn't want to pick it up. It's showing some level of instability in the behavior and how they see things.
Okay, so when a mother gets to this stage and can be defined as toxic, what are the effects on both the spouse, the children? What are the effects? I will not use the word damaging. What really
You see,
are the effects?
the woman at home who make things work is like when there's a light. Once you switch off the light at home, we can't get directions. And when you can't get direction, it's more likely that you have accident in that particular place.
Everything will just
went off. And that is why I've seen most people in session cry for loss of mother than they cry for loss of father.
Loss as in death?
Death.
Okay. Okay.
I've seen people get more challenges in life for absentee mother. Less than father, as much as it's very important. So it's a big deal in the sense that things does not work the way it should work.
Yeah.
A woman, for example, that needs to help the children on assignment does not show up,
Not there.
and we need to affect the academic of the home. A woman probably needs to guide the home in terms of spiritual and religious activities, beginning to slow down in that activities.
Yeah.
If a man goes up and he wants a gist partner to come and gist with, but the woman is not there, or she knows that if I start this conversation, I can't sleep on this bed today. But this is just a normal conversation that we should have as partner.
Okay.
And that woman also beginning to extend it even to our own relations. You see a case whereby they will need to get to the spouse, to get to the main person at home, because he's not communicating.
you can't,
he's indisposed at all in that regard. So you extend also now to workplace. The person, even the workplace, can't cope with his colleague and they need to separate themselves, or they need to be a trigger and the fight every time. Why are you the only one at work? And sometimes they could be very productive. And that's why at the workplace, because productivity, it is not a proof that someone is not toxic. As a matter of fact, you can be toxic and be more productive. Because it's an energy in a direction, a particular direction.
An escape route.
Escape route.
So can we look at solutions? Because we're like almost out of time. When this presents itself, John, is your question in that direction?
No, yeah, it's okay. Let's look at solutions, because I was going to say that, okay, for the woman who is toxic, how does she herself know that she's toxic?
You see, the simplest way to know that you are toxic is that you have less happiness in your life.
Okay.
Your affection level is reduced. There is an assessment or a blame to more people than to yourself. Everything gets to you. And people get to you easily. Yeah. There's something's wrong.
Then you should know that you
need to check up.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So when you get there, can you help yourself? Or must you
it's a two-way. If you have not gotten far and you have the ability, it's like someone who have a cut, but you have the ability to quickly stop the blood and use a first aid for yourself. But there's some case that you can't. You just need external help to help you because you are losing blood and someone needs to pick you up.
Yeah.
So at that point where you can do a critical assessment to see that, oh, I have a problem here. I need to check myself. Number one. But there's some case where everybody is saying it, but you are disagreeing, then you need to seek a professional help.
Okay.
At that
But
point,
if you
everybody's saying it, or sometimes you know that I think I have a problem, but I don't think it's
Okay.
working, and there's no solution. At that time, you need to seek.
Probably that's where the family support comes in, because if
Family
I don't
support.
accept, then I wouldn't present myself, to
Yes,
specialist to
in
help.
most cases when
so
people have-
someone else needs to direct
exactly.
their attention
In
there.
most cases, when
help.
people have gotten to extreme, they even see the family helper as a problem.
Okay.
So at that point, they need to seek professional help.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Wow. I never thought this was this serious when we said, let's look at this topic this week. But it's more serious than I thought. John, it's
Yeah.
more serious than we thought.
It's-
And deeper than we ever imagined.
I wish you had more time.
Yes, we always,
Honestly,
always don't have
I
enough
wish we
time.
had more time.
Quite a lot to take away there. Thank you once again.
Thank you for the opportunity.
For coming back home. And you know that you can come back any other time.
And what is available.
We have
For this
benefited
place.
tremendously from his experience today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So today with John and Helen, we'll continue. Of course, thanks to our dear friend Excel Adeleye. Thanks for coming. And like Helen said, I hope we're going to have you on the show again
Definitely.
very soon. So at this point, I think
Let's move on to other
we should
things.
move to the gym. Yeah, let's move to the gym and
Okay.
do some fitness, put some fitness in our lives. Yeah,
And
the
Eric
expert
is-
is ready, and he will be leading us gently through.
Okay, so Eric, are you there? Take it away.